Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Millennial VS Gen Z podcast.
Yeah.
So I will probably have to lead the first few episodes because my brother's never been on camera before.
Yep.
So he's gonna be very camera shy for the first few. But so we're just gonna a little bit just introduce ourselves and what are kind of the reasoning why we want to make the podcast and what expectations pretty much is gonna happen in these podcast episodes. Okay, so I'm gonna introduce myself first. Hi, my name is Lychee. I am a filmmaker. I love to produce videos, things like these. And pretty much throughout my life, I am pretty much a Generation Z, as to call it. But I do have a millennial mindset because of growing up with my brother, who is a millennial. And we do have deep conversations when it comes to finance, culture, just all about just life. So I thought it would be really fun to start these podcasts where we just talk. And I know that a lot of Generation Zs are going through things right now. And it would be really nice to have people around with it, build a community of just talking or having these conversations, right?
So what are we talking about?
So today we are just gonna introduce ourselves pretty much. All right. So yeah, you can introduce yourself too.
So my name is Leo, and so I'm Lychee's brother. So it's kind of weird for me for the first time, doing this video podcast thing. But I hope we can talk about some interesting topics in the future. And so a little bit about myself. I actually wasn't born here, so but I grew up in this New York City environment where I went to middle school basically, and then high school and college in New York City. And then growing up as an immigrant, we experienced different stuff. Versus my sister, maybe she's born here.
Yeah, the ABC, or some people call it American born Chinese. Yeah,
so that might be a little bit different, and I can, we can always talk about some of the experience that way. Our reason to start this channel is maybe to help out some of the people like us and what we experience too, and we can just share and talk about our experience.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because it's important.
Yeah, it's life important. In general. So hopefully, everyone can relax and enjoy. For our topics that we're gonna go through, maybe some of the videos.
I guess let's start off a little bit on for you, your experience growing up, as I guess a millennial immigrant. How was it different for you? What would you say, at a young age,
young age?
Yeah, culture-wise, for you.
Oh, yeah. Basically, for me, when I came...
to America, yeah.
Yeah, when I came, basically, the first time I was in America, we were in New York City. So, I have no idea. I don't even know the ABCs,
the alphabet.
The alphabet. So I started like that, and basically, when the first week of school, I have no idea what they're talking about, and so it was really tough for me. So I remember, going home and every night just crying because I couldn't do the homework. I don't understand what everybody's talking about. So that made it really hard for me, do the transition from being an immigrant just to be in a new place, in a new school where you don't know anything, you don't know the language, you don't know the people.
Yeah.
And that was a really tough first few years.
For me, as a Generation Z, but also American born Chinese, even though I was born into it, I actually had an identity crisis. I didn't know if I was too Chinese enough or too like American enough. At that, I've never like had like a middle like ground. It always felt weird. So like there were moments where I kind of feel embarrassed with my Chinese culture because like, you know, American people don't see Chinese people sometimes, and then Chinese people don't see me because I'm too Americanized since I don't know my like Mandarin. So it's like it was very hard for me during that time. So for you, how was it for you? Did you feel like you were more accepted?
No.
Into
Basically, outcasts. You know, people think you're weird and you don't know any language. But the good thing about New York City is there's a lot of immigrants. So that made it maybe probably more easier in terms of if you're living in the Midwest or somewhere, you know, there's less immigrant, then you definitely there will be a lot of discrimination against you. So but I remember like in the beginning it was tough for me to just fit in because you definitely need a time to understand the culture, understand everybody, so and understand the language, so you can fit in to even with the teachers, with your classmates. That takes time. So but I remember when I was young, and I went to Michigan one time for my cousin. You know, and in the Midwest, there's a lot of discrimination against you know the outsider, what they call maybe, or there's a lot of just you know, it's tough. I know a lot of the school kids maybe it's different if they're living in New York City or California. You know, East Coast, West Coast, they have more immigrants, so maybe that made it more, you know, easier. Yeah. So but anyway, the I think the most important is just to it takes time to fit in, right? It takes time to understand the culture, but what it made it really tough for me was understanding language. So for the first few years I was just learning the English language, learning everything to make sure that, you know, you understand what everybody was talking about.
I think the culture is getting better at, you know, accepting and being more, I think it's like more diverse. I feel like some schools are becoming more diverse.
Definitely.
Yeah, right? Like, especially college now. Like,
yeah, it's very diverse.
Very diverse.
I think after the Obama administration, they opened up, you know, like a 10-year visa program. So, and then there's a lot of more students. So now it's getting more diverse, I think. Right? So.
Yeah. Because for me, when I was in college, there were a lot of Hong Kong students, as well as a lot of UK students and Vietnamese. There was a lot of Indian students from India. So it was a lot of international students that came to study to art school, which was very interesting. So I would assume things like business, medical, definitely a lot of from different countries would come as well. I just know that it's been a little bit more easier now. So besides like, I guess, culture, for like different generations, in a way, what would you say like in terms of like expectations, like from parents between millennial versus like a Gen Z?
Expectation wise, I think every generation will be the same,
right?
You know, every generation, parents expect, you know, a lot from the children. Maybe it's not from, maybe it's the Asian culture, you know, but expectation wise, some families will not be that much, but I would say it depends on every family's situation, right?
Yeah.
It won't be, you know, difference from generation to generation, but definitely, I would say, in my times, we would say, there isn't going to college, you know, it's sort of, there's a transitioning to your generation, you know. Your generation, maybe a college degree is like worthless right now.
Yeah.
You know, but in terms of my time, it's a little bit, you know, it still has its prestige. You know, in terms of parents' time, then the college degree
is meant a lot.
It's meant a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that has some difference in different generation, but in terms of expecting you to succeed in life, I think that depends on all the families, you know, different people, you know, having different expectations.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, I feel like every parent would want every of their kids to succeed, right? It's just the amount of pressure can vary from family to family. But I feel, I don't know, I feel like as the generation goes on, things get easier and more comfortable. And I feel like it, in a way, like, after the Generation Z and I guess, was it Y? Or is it, right? Generation Y. I think the pressures or expectations is a bit lower after, like, for you, I mean, you have a daughter now. So as a millennial, I guess, like, experiencing, like, the pressures from, I guess, the baby boomer parents, right? What difference would you say? I think it's a bit easier for you to not pressure your kids a lot more, or in general, like, don't have such huge expectations for your kid as, like, the generation goes on. Because I guess, like, in a way, like, things get comfortable or easier in life in terms of, like obviously making money and making things is getting harder in life, but in terms of, like, putting pressure, I think as generation goes, it's becoming less and less. Do you feel like that way, or?
Yeah. I think you don't expect your kids to, you know, the term of success, how you want to put it, right? Is a term, this guy did something really nice to the society, or he made a lot of money. Is that success? Or what success can be in different ways, right?
Yeah.
So I would say we expect, like, my expectation for my daughter will be just to be healthy, you know.
Yeah.
Just to
happy,
enjoy life.
Yeah.
Whatever that, you know, but she still have to go to school.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And it's good to have those skills and develop and learn. Yeah.
Yeah, but in terms other expectation, I don't have any much expectations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think one, I guess, final thing before we wrap up, I do want to talk about, like, I guess, personal goals, but also, like, I guess, goals that you feel, because I feel like each generation is different. So for you, I guess, with you speaking particularly, like, as a millennial, I guess, right now, like, what personal goals you have right now for you versus someone who, you know, is a Generation Z? Because I have very different personal goals versus you.
My goal right now is more, you know, towards family, right? I think when you grow older, your goals change, your priorities change, right? And then as time goes, your expectations change to yourself, and also so everybody has its different, going through different stage of life. They have different goals in life as times change, and so that way, you know. So my expectation right now is actually, I don't have any expectation much anymore.
You're in the comfortable phase of a millennial, which is yes, you have things to do, you have a schedule, a routine, but you know, the stage of comfortableness is a good stage. Yeah.
So I would say just to make a living, but also, you know, have a good family, and that's about my goal in life right now, because it's you change. As in terms of when I was younger, I want to do a lot.
Yeah.
I want to do different stuff, creating business or do something to change the society or something.
Yeah.
But you find out the reality is different.
It's different,
from what your dreams are, So that takes time, but you get mature. You as time goes on, you'll be more mature, and you have, you develop yourself. You have different goals, so and then you learn from your mistakes. That way, you change yourself. But it's not like saying I don't have any other goals.
You still have ambition to succeed and still try, the best.
But it's gonna maybe it's
riskier.
It's more of risk and your family, how you gonna balance out everything instead of just do it. So the that's how the younger generations are. When they think of something, they want to do it, just do it. And that's good.
That's what my generation and what I'm going through right now, especially graduating from college.
When you're young, it's good to do something. Just do it. I think it's pretty good if you have the time to lose. Or you when you're young, you can fail. And because you can get back right up. Instead of if you're in your 50s, 60s, and you don't have, the courage to get back up if you fail something. So that's the beauty of being young.
Okay. Yeah. Well, for me, he pretty much pointed everything out. Like my generation right now, we're very curious. We're so ambitious. Too ambitious that we want to do everything, and I think we get very discouraged. For especially us as a younger age, we want to do everything that we can't focus on one thing.
So, I used to be like you. We have different goals. You have a lot of stuff that we want to do because when you're younger, you want to think. I can do this, I can do that. And then you get lost in your goals, in your dreams, and that dreams is only a dream. So find something you think you're really good at, and you like to do it, and just keep on doing it. Keep on adding it, so that way you become the best in the field. Then you will build a career out of it, or you build something out of it. So I think that's one of my advice to people.
Well, thank you so much for watching the first episode of Millennial VS Gen Z podcast. Make sure to subscribe our YouTube channel as well. Go follow in our socials in the description box below, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.